Hey everybody, thank you so much for joining me for another episode of 10 Minute Tuesdays. I got my guy, my dog, my friend Chimdi on here. What's good, bro?
Hey, what's going on? So good to see you
Hey,
today. Thanks for having
awesome.
me.
Yeah, for sure, man. Thanks for making time and hopping on the 10 Minute Tuesday podcast. So, we've done a number of these, so let's go ahead and hop into it, man. Chimdi, go ahead and introduce
Okay.
yourself, man.
So my name is Chimdi Nwosu. I am currently in British Columbia, Canada. I work as a database manager slash Tableau developer on the side, and I love everything to do with database, I guess I can say. I'll keep it high level for now. So yeah,
Awesome.
that's me.
For sure, one of the coldest in the game. Like, whenever I need a spark or if I'm just looking at it, I'm going to your profile. I'm like, yo, how did he come up with this? Cool. All right. So data manager, database manager, but then Tableau visionary and everything. But at a certain point, you got your start. So what really compels you to get into data to begin with?
I'd say it was just more before I got deep into like an actual full-on data role. I was doing like BA type stuff, analyst work where like I'm interacting with data, but I'm also doing a bunch of other things like, business processes and like interacting with people and chasing down stuff. And I found like it was a different kind of fulfillment just every time I'm getting into the data portion and especially the visualization portion. And so I started to feel like, is there some way where like I can do just this portion without the rest of things? I didn't know that it was possible at the time. And so, by then I had already started like posting on Twitter, LinkedIn. And then that was how someone on LinkedIn reached out to me specifically. And I'm looking at it and it just was like that perfect fit that I was looking for, where a lot of the fluff was cut out and it's just like a pure like data viz role. And I was just happy to jump into it. And I think ever since then, I've been like super lucky to kind of get things related to just that. So I guess it's great in that sense. And the person who like really like gave me that opportunity, he's no longer with the company. He was like my former manager. But I really think like the relationship there and like just how things kind of went was really what made me fall in love with things like career wise. And I'm happy that I was able to take that opportunity.
Man, that's fantastic. It's so crazy that the stuff you put out into the atmosphere, whether it's Twitter, LinkedIn, or saying out
Yeah.
loud, like I want to be data viz or whatever it is, like how it
Yeah.
manifests and can come true, even though you're just doing it for the right reasons.
Yeah, exactly. Like it's you never know until you kind of just begin to even think and envision and like put things out there, and then it can find you through that process.
Yeah. Yeah. Awesome. Awesome. All right. So you got your start. You said you did some BA stuff and got into data, but there were probably some jobs that you had that you didn't like before this. So to date, what's been your least favorite job that you had?
Least favorite job. I'd say it's actually probably the job that I had right before I got my first full-blown data job. It was like a lead position where instead of creating the data, I was consuming the data and then I'm babysitting processes. I had someone that I was responsible for in terms of like, employees and things like this. So I think for me, just spending that much time away from the data side of things and just having to deal with constantly chasing things down. You're not as accountable for success in the same way where building a dashboard is an actual product. So for me, I think it was just seeing how differently it was for me compared to when I was actually hands-on. And then I decided, like, you know what, that to me just really that's actually what pushed me. So like because I wasn't doing any of that stuff at work, it wasn't like I hated the job, but it was my least favorite. But it allowed me to stay like whenever I got home in the evening, I would spend like some time doing data viz and over time I would post because of that. And so it did actually lead me away from the job into what I was actually supposed to be doing.
Wow.
So that's kind of what it was for me. It's just the fact like I love people and I love being accountable for helping people with their success. But I just found like in the healthcare space, public sector, babysitting vendors, bureaucracy, it's just not my thing. So that's why I was like, that's my least favorite.
Oh,
for work.
we should have a
Yeah.
conversation offline about
Yeah.
about
Let's do
about
it.
the
Let's do it.
healthcare space and all that stuff. Yeah, yeah, totally familiar with everything that you've gone through.
Yeah, yeah, it was just not. I look back at it, I love the people there and everything, and I think we all just kind of had that common understand, like we're just doing our best here
Yeah,
because, sometimes it can be really frustrating.
yeah, that's so true. All right, so understanding that, all right, there's a process to get to where you are right now. Current Tableau visionary, but like you talked about, you put the work in, put the effort in, but we all had a process. So, what would you consider your biggest failure? Quotation marks around failure, and what did you learn from that experience?
Biggest failure, I would say. So prior to my data days, right? I actually had dreams of maybe doing something related to math, right? So I had like a math degree, took some business courses, but my failure was in the transition into the workspace, actually. So I didn't really think about how that was supposed to go. I really didn't plan out my initial experience to fit the goals that I wanted. And so when I came out into the real world, I actually floundered around a lot for a little bit until finally I decided like I don't want to spend the rest of my time just doing this. And so I actually decided to go back to school, put in the time and effort. And I think that really changed. When you're in a space where you don't have opportunity and you're not really being given the chance, you switch your mentality to basically you never want to be in that situation again. So when I went back to school, it was the exact opposite. Everything was planned out, meticulous, like overtook whatever it is that I needed to learn just to make sure that, you know what, if I can't do this, you're gonna hire me for that. If I can't do that, you're gonna hire me for that. And so like it was more of a learning experience, but I will say for the first few years of my career, I really failed to find a footing in the way that you ideally would want to. And it just taught me a lot to just always have a plan, always know what's coming next. And while you want to live in the moment and hope for the best, always understand that you have to answer to tomorrow. And so you got to think about what's coming for you. So that's what it is for me. It's just like learning the need to plan and always keep your mindset,
Yeah.
aware of what's coming next.
Dude, that's incredible, and I think you summed it up. And I never really thought about it. Is you never want to have that feeling again, right? When you get a chance to
Yeah.
like get in your space or you're in your groove or you know what you're doing, like there's a different drive that comes out of you to where you never want to feel just that. It's that feeling, that thing in your stomach. You're just like, no, I will work. I'll stay up. I'll do whatever it takes
Yeah,
to
exactly,
never feel that.
exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's almost like you want to prove yourself to yourself, not even so much like let me appease what's out there. It's like I know my capabilities, I know my value, and I need to show myself that I can do that. And then that kind of just gives you that belief in yourself and that confidence that, you know what, I can do this. I can do what I want to. I just need to put in that effort towards it.
so I guess question in that regard, do you feel like when you shifted that internal thought process of proving it to yourself that
Mhm.
things open up for you?
Um, I'd say it allows you I wouldn't say to take more risks, but it allows you to initiate better. One of the worst things that you don't want to happen is you don't want to be that guy that's like, I have this idea that I want to do, I have this thing that I want to do, I have this desire that I want to pursue, and you're just like, stopping and think like you have to just start, do, make it happen. And then even if it doesn't go the way you want it to go, then you can move on to something else really quickly.
Yeah, that's so good. That's so
Yeah.
awesome. Like that for me, the same thing is like when I stopped giving a bleep about like some of the metrics or some of the
Yeah.
likes or some of it, or
Yeah.
and I cared about the passion and the craft, like I was able to take more risk because it was just me. I was doing stuff. I didn't care about the masses or anything like that.
Yeah,
So yeah,
exactly.
so cool. Thanks for that. Okay,
Yeah,
all
yeah,
right.
yeah.
So, what is one piece of advice you give someone who's just starting out in their career?
Someone who's just on that's a good one. I think. we've all been there at some point in time, and I think we all wish we had that one thing. So there are different messages to be had at the start, but one that really I think has impacted me in a really big way, and so this is something someone told me, is like you're gonna have to say yes to a lot of things at the beginning. So opportunities that you may not have considered yourself doing, tasks and jobs that maybe you don't feel fall into your description, you might have to take those on because that gives you a lot of the exposure. You then start to like, okay, I may have not have thought about this, but I actually love this thing, and you get to meet new people and you get to learn new things. And by the time you're getting like closer towards like your seasoned years of your career, you can say that you've experimented, you've tried out different things, and now you've found your lane to say either this is what I've now specialized in, these are like my core skill sets and all of that stuff. But I find just putting yourself in places where you can learn the most and doing that consistently, that's going to really help you out because not only are you learning the different aspects of whatever industry you're in, you're making awesome connections, meeting new people, and learning the types of lessons that maybe you may not have been able to learn on your own, but by saying yes to something that you normally wouldn't do, now you have a new perspective that you can take into other things as well. So that's what I would say at the beginning. Just say yes as much as you can, but understand obviously what with balance. You don't want to overburn, you don't want to do all of that, but you do want to get exposure to say what is out there and just give yourself time to experiment.
I love that. And I think that's the quickest way to really finding out what it is that you like doing as well. Like, if you
Yeah.
say yes to things, you're like, oh, I don't like that. I want to do something else. Like, if
Yeah,
you never said
exactly.
yeah, you won't know it that you don't like something.
Yes, that's so true. That is so true. You don't know until you actually experience it to say no.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Awesome, Chimdi. This was great, man. Where can listeners find you at online?
I'd say Twitter for sure, Database Chimdi. I've got like all my links there, so I'd say that's the one place you can go to. And I've not been on there as active as I can, but I'm definitely always in there looking through things. So Database Chimdi on Twitter, and my links are all in my profile.
Awesome, awesome. Y'all heard it here first. Go to Twitter, check him out. He got his YouTube page. I'm trying to get him on the YouTube wave as well. You got too much
Still
talent
working
in
on
that brain. The world needs to know it.
that.
Awesome, bro.
Hey,
Well,
this has been awesome.
thank you so much, man. Thanks for joining on this one. And
Anytime.
thank you all for watching. Thank you so much for following Tim and Tuesdays. If you haven't already, please like, share, and subscribe. And we will talk to you all next week. Y'all have a great day.